Hey, it's Christina the carriage driver here with another carriage horse explainer. Today it's how carriage horses don't get scared by partial solar eclipses. So I'm here over at 38th Street, Westside Livery Stable, and we got the lights off because it's nice and cool in here, and why pay for electricity you don't need when you got windows. So I'm recording right now at like the height of the solar eclipse, and all the horses are in right now because the health department today decided that at 11:30 they needed to tell us that, oh, we can't work between noon and 4:30 because of the partial solar eclipse we're experiencing here in New York City. Now, solar eclipses are really, really cool. They really are. It's a beautiful thing that goes on with the geometry of the universe. Our moon is exactly the right size to allow for a solar eclipse. In several 100 million years or whatever, we will no longer get total eclipses because the moon is gradually moving further from us and it won't block the sun entirely. So this is a really cool thing to have a solar eclipse here in New York City, August 21st, 2017. It's not total here, but the totality does travel across the United States from Oregon to Charleston, South Carolina. We're the only country that gets to exhibit it. I mean, maybe if we believe in superstition, this is a kind of cool thing. That only the United States is being singled out for a solar eclipse right now in today's political climate. But anyway, so we're here in New York City where we're getting about 70-75% coverage of the sun by the moon. And at 11:30 this morning, we got a text message from the health department saying that we were going to be suspended from noon until 4:30 because of the adverse effects that might be caused by a solar eclipse. They actually said they have no concrete evidence as to whether or not this would cause a problem, but out of an abundance of caution, we would not be allowed to work because in total eclipses, some animals act strange. And it is true that in a total eclipse, things start to get dimmer and dimmer and dimmer and dimmer and dimmer. And all of a sudden it gets pitch black as the moon completely covers the sun for 2 minutes until it goes on its way. And it's been widely reported that, birds and things start singing their nighttime songs, and maybe an animal might act strange because the temperature really drops, and then it gets light again. Well, we're not anywhere near the totality. The closest total eclipse to us right now is in Charleston, South Carolina, where, yes, they did suspend carriages. They suspended carriages because they are expecting 1 million people on the peninsula in Charleston, and the traffic was just going to be impossible, so they told them not to go out to work. It has nothing to do with the behavior of the horses. I'm up here with our equine friends. There's Billy. See Billy here behind me? Does he look like he's freaked out by the eclipse right now? I don't think he does. Nor does Oreo. Doing funny things with his tongue. There's Molly behind me over here. Here's Josie. Nobody is freaking out right now, even though the sun has gone 3/4 of the way away. Matter of fact, it's cloudy right now, so unfortunately we're missing the best part of the eclipse because the sun is behind the clouds. So why would the city of New York tell us we couldn't be out to work right now? It is no dimmer right now than it is when the sun is behind the clouds like it is right now. Our horses do just fine when they go to work, and the sun sets over the course of an hour and a half, and then it gets dark. It seems very suspicious that we were told not to work today when I know that we had people with reservations because they wanted to take a carriage ride during the eclipse. And yet, through the pressure of animal rights groups who don't know anything about astronomy, they don't actually know what's going to happen when an eclipse happens, which is that nothing really happens if you're in the partial eclipse. You can look at the sun like we did through the welder's glasses of our stablemen. They have a welder's mask, and it's kind of cool. There's a crescent shape, but it doesn't mean that our horses are freaking out. There's no change in the magnetic field. There's no panicking. And if there was, and the health department said, you guys have to stop working because the horses might freak out because there's a partial solar eclipse, why are all the city dog parks open? We have dogs running around, pit bulls, without leashes that might freak out. But that's okay. This is just insane. I mean, we're supposed to be for the side of science here. This is not something that is scary for our horses. It's not causing them to act out. All it did was cause an inconvenience for carriage people who came in from Westchester County, from Long Island, from New Jersey, came into work expecting a full day of work because after all, the solar eclipse has cooled the temperature so that we're going to get a full day of work because it wasn't going to be too hot, only to have the health department told us at 11:30 that, oh, you're suspended at noon because of the eclipse that everybody's known about for weeks, if not months. This is insane. It's just, it's not science, it's superstition. And we deserve better than that. Like I said, everybody's all hanging out here, everybody's cool. Hi, Josie. And nobody's panicking at the height of the solar eclipse. Why would they? It's no different than when the sun goes behind some thin clouds. It's no different than when the sun sets. Nobody here in New York City is being plunged into total darkness. On May 10th, 1994, there was an annular eclipse that crossed the continental United States from Baja California up to like Nova Scotia. And New York City was in more of an eclipse than it is now. Were the carriage horses running amok in the street? No. Because it wasn't total darkness. It wasn't a total eclipse. We need to fight for science in this country. Science is under attack by the animal rights activists, by people with political agendas. Science matters. And we should not be beholden to mass hysteria, to superstition. We should be allowed to work today. Christina the carriage driver signing off. Happy eclipse, y'all. We're not totally plunged in darkness here. Let me see here. Can I get out the window? I don't know. Yeah, that's the eclipse right there. Good job, y'all.